My name is Abhishek Bij. I'm a partner at Design Plus Architects. Design Plus Architects has been around for over 40 years. Currently, we're specializing in various programs, particularly education and sports. And we try and remain at the apex of architectural technology that has to offer.
As we are in Smartex right now, so what do you think about smart architecture?
The smartness, unfortunately, gets embroidered under the use of products and the resultant ambience that's created. It's unfortunately gets reduced to a very generic interior application. However, in smartness of the architecture, it is kind of confounded by various aspects that are pre-design, during design, post-design, during construction and post-construction and occupancy. Right? At the early stages of design, for example, architects are trained to question the problem. And that is very kind of inert in how we think. A slight off track. So for example, design thinking is a principle that's been taught in MBA. We didn't even realize architects that have been trained on design thinking for decades, for centuries. Right? Problem solving, asking the right questions. That's like a precursor to any smart approach. And like I said, architects and architecture is kind of been doing this for ever since, right? So this is the second one is design process. The first one is how do you initiate? Design process again is today, there's a lot of talk about tools. Sustainability has been a buzzword for a long time now. But the process again goes back and forth into deciphering the right amount to build, whether not to build. Because the biggest onus on us is if you realize if you're doing a 100 crore project, it is somebody else's money. Do you need that kind of real estate? The stakeholder is not you. That's a design process. The third thing that is happening in smart is way to manufacture. While one kind of structure in somewhere in, let's say, London would be built by robots, the same structure can be built with the skilled labor that India possesses or Mexico possesses. So if you're able to identify the strengths of the manufacturing process, whether it's labor intensive, machine intensive, power intensive, material intensive, if you're able to economize, optimize on that, then you're talking about a very smart manufacturing process. The last bit is the integration, which is unfortunately takes the precedence today. Whether I want to walk in a room where the light turns off when on my motion, whether it should flush on its own and so on and so forth. That's the last bit. Of course, it has its own merits from that perspective as well.
So how are you actually implementing it? Can you give us an idea?
The obvious answer I'll reply is that we are very reliant on the tools and software that we are using in the office to begin with. So there is a lot of reliance on digital tech that we put our projects through. And we also pride in the fact that these are very low-res tools to have early conversations which can be very damaging at a later stage in a project. First is that. Second, I'm also very proud of the thought process the studio has. Something that I said that is nothing special to our studio is it is any ethical practice would go down. You're asking the right questions. You're able to hopefully find the right answers. So smartness at the design stage can be tackled at these two ends. In the next stage, if you're able to optimize, and that's a very cliche word, I can say optimize cost, optimize time, optimize decision making, optimize construction scheduling. If you're able to optimize in the next stage, you're also working smarter. Because again, time and again, it's not your money, it's not your time, you're not the primary stakeholder. You are a important cog in the wheel, but you're still a cog in the wheel.
So have you noticed any changes in the recent changes in the design approach since say 5 years?
So while I've been practicing for over 15-16 years, I work with my old man who's been working for over 40 years. It's beautiful how his style and my style is married today, because I'll be all right, let's open Grasshopper, let's open my Revit, let's figure this out. And it's like, hold on, it takes me 5 minutes to do a goddamn sketch which you take 3 hours to model. What's more efficient? My sketch to scale, identical, or your goddamn script that you're struggling to write, right? I honestly don't think that there is a right answer to the way one should design something. I always say that my sketchbook is Grasshopper, let's say. His sketchbook is the sketchbook. If you're able to use your tool to your advantage, to optimize, and in this case time, you find your own niche in how you're designing.
How are you finding this Smartex Inspo?
All right, I think it's a great endeavor. What these guys are pulling through, I think this is the first attempt at putting this kind of a conference together. The topics are interesting, definitely. The format is interesting as well, quite different from the several other architectural conferences that are happening in the city. So I'm enjoying my time here. Let's see, I've still got a few hours to spend.